Referee for this one, all the way from Australia, Amber McLaughlin.
Ready?
And we're underway at the Twickenham Stoop. The Red Roses looking for their 4th straight win of the tournament. And a partially charged down clearance from Wales off the restart. And KATY DALEY-MCLEAN will just head back to take a loose pass. There was a knock on, so we'll set a scrum to England. Philippa Tuttiett and Giselle Mather alongside. Philippa, what a challenge this is for Wales up against the Grand Slam champions here.
Yeah, but what an exciting challenge, and what a fantastic stadium with a big crowd. If that's not enough to get your top performance out, then I don't know what is.
There's HARRIET MILLAR-MILLS, her first start since that World Cup final 3 years ago. And Leanne Riley on her home patch here at the Stoop will feed this scrum. Good solid platform. Sarah Beckett at number 8, but look at the power coming on from Wales, and they've got the penalty advantage as well. Well, how about that, Philippa Tuttiett? Take that, England.
You know what? This has been one of the key areas for Wales, one of their shining lights. Their front row, it's a completely new front row for this Six Nations. Your likes of Gwenllian Pearce, Kelsey Jones, Cerys Hale, and they have been holding their own. That is a great psychological boost for Wales.
Welcome to the game, England. Time to switch on. The game is kicked off, and you know they just weren't ready for that whatsoever. Fantastic first scrum for Wales.
Cerys Hale on the tight head side for Wales. That's Gwenllian Pearce on the loose head side. The entire Wales front row play their club rugby in England, but the line-out just slightly malfunctions. And Sarah Beckett, who's playing at number 8, starting at number 8 for England for the first time. Here's Shauna Brown, tight head for England. KATY DALEY-MCLEAN. Amber Reid flings it out to Sarah McKenna, normally a fullback. They call her the governor, at least according to Hannah Bottoman. She's out in the left wing today. Here's DALEY-MCLEAN again, short ball to the 50 capper, Amy Cockayne. She made her test debut here, Amy Cockayne, back in 2015 as an 18-year-old. The firefighter, Shauna Brown, with another carry. Leanne Riley just has to hold on that occasion. Bit of traffic in the way. Vicky Fleetwood now. Starting at 7 at the moment, of course. Marley Packer unavailable, one of the injured players for the Red Roses. So much quality and depth in this England team. Speaking of which is HARRIET MILLAR-MILLS out of the Wasps club. No doubt, Giselle, you'd be pleased to see her starting a game for England once more.
Absolutely delighted. She's worked so hard, and to see her back where she was pre all the injuries 2.5 years ago in a starting shirt, it's immense for her.
DALEY-MCLEAN decides to kick. A little bit of space in behind. Kayleigh Powell, the Wales fullback, takes it cleanly, and she sets off. It was a tap tackle from Amber Reid, and pressure on Wales now in their own 22. Trying to carry that out of danger through Bethan Lewis, but the ball's been knocked forward. And here's Cornbrook and a fellow front rower, Shauna Brown, heading towards the try line. 7 metres out, England. DALEY-MCLEAN. McKenna, long pass over the top to Emily Scott, the Harlequin. And here's Lydia Thompson, but that's some good cover defence from Wales, keeping the Red Roses out.
It's some good cover defence, but you've got to ask questions as to why Wales let themselves get into that position. A real issue for Wales has been their exiting, and that was a key time there where they needed to exit. Kayleigh Powell did really well getting back and fielding that ball, but they needed to let it go.
The energy from Amber Reid to chase after the kick chase is what's created this opportunity.
Kelsey Jones throws a line out. This one's been taken cleanly at the front, so that'll give them confidence at the set piece. There's Kira Bevan in the 9 shirt, plays for the Bristol Bears. Partially charged again, and danger signs again for Wales, but a knock on from England, so A scrum to Wales. Lots of pressure on these exit plays.
Lots of pressure on them, and this is what we saw really early doors in the campaign. Their Achilles heel against Italy was that they just couldn't exit, and I wonder there whether potentially he might have actually looked for a box kick from Kira Bevan, because she has got a really good high box kick, could have turned it into an attacking opportunity even.
It's Poppy Cleal who almost came up with a try. Amy Cockayne, what a moment that would be on a home ground, a 50th cap if she had got a try. Wales survived for now. First scrum was excellent. Got the scrum penalty.
We've just got both players down here.
You mentioned, Philippa, during the week, this has been a brand new front row for Wales women this Six Nations, but they've been a standout.
They have, and when we've talked about changing in selection in the Welsh team, actually the front row is the most consistent selection they have had. They've really stepped up to the mark, and they're really earning those jerseys.
Chris Horseman on the right of shot, former Bath and Worcester player. Geraint Lewis and Gareth Wyatt, they're all co-coaches for this Wales women's team at the moment.
Let each other bind, nice one bind for me.
England making sure they've got their processes right this time for this scrum. Obviously not enjoying the experience of the first scrum, so they're actually making sure that everything is as they want it to be for this one. Very, very important scrum for both sides here.
Wales have conceded 100 points and 16 tries in the tournament so far. Compare that to England, just 13 points and 1 try across the first 3 rounds, and that's picked up by Lily Crapp. But turnover for England, and here they go heading towards the line. Just where you don't want to turn over the ball. Harriet Miller-Mills awaits possession. She's driven over just short. Riley goes digging, and they're over the line now, England. It's Poppy Cleal. She does love scoring tries for England. And we'll go upstairs to the TMO and have a look.
Have you got me?
Yes, Emma, go ahead.
Yeah, TMO. I've got an on-field decision of a try. Just want to make sure there is a grounding there and it hasn't been held up.
Okay, check now for you.
Oh, we've got here.
Amber, have a decision for you.
Yep.
Go.
I think the patience of England, they'll be absolutely delighted with that. The whole build-up from that, from where they kicked the ball forward, fabulous kick chase from Amber Reid, where she tackled Karis Howe. And then from there, England have kept hold of the ball. Their stats so far in this tournament in the 22 haven't been that great, so they'll be absolutely delighted that the first foray into the 22 results in 7 points.
Emily Scarratt, her 543rd point for England, and for Poppy Cleal on a 40th Test match, that's her 10th Test try.
From the Welsh side of things, I think they're going to be feeling such frustration. It's initial good pick by Siwan Lillicrap, but just that element of hesitation there, but equally great pressure from the England back row coming round. And I was in the England camp this week with Poppy Cleal, and she was talking about how much she would prefer to be playing 8. That's her ambition, and with strong carries like that, she's going to be putting a marker out there.
Emily Scarratt with the clearance kick. Wales kicking deep off the restart. That's found touch, so Wales will throw the line out. Emily Scarratt, her 89th Test for England. Just the second time she's captained the team. Of course, a former England Sevens and Team GB Sevens captain at the Olympic Games, but Sarah Hunter on the bench today. Skaz gets a start leading the team. She captained England at the World Cup against Italy in the pool rounds 3 years ago. Good line out again from Wales.
Ball's there.
Alicia Butchers in the 6 shirt for Wales today.
Hold.
Playing scrum half there was Gwynplaine Pearce. Loose head prop, who's a sheep herder by trade. I should say a sheepdog trainer by trade. Maybe she does a bit of sheep herding as well, who knows?
Potentially, potentially.
Keris Hale now. Kira Bevan will kick from the base this time. There's Emily Scott, awarded the Player of the Match award against Scotland up at Murrayfield, just slipping on this Twickenham Stoop turf there. HARRIET, MILLAR-MILLS getting back to help out a fullback. DALEY-MCLEAN, Amber Reid, SCARRATT, quick hands to Lydia Thompson, scored that wonderful winning try against France down at Sandy Park in Exeter in the autumn. Right on the final buzzer. What a moment that was for the Red Roses. Vicky Fleetwood, a couple of tries for her in the Six Nations. Just copped a little knock there in contact at the England Open side. Amy Cockayne just sets up a platform. KATY, DALEY-MCLEAN, another low trajectory kick up towards the halfway line.
You can see England in virtually every single contact situation when they're carrying the ball are fighting for those extra yards, which are just giving them the edge in the momentum and allowing them to play with much quicker ball.
Yeah, I think it was the right call to see that box kick coming in from Kira Bevan, but the chase was awfully narrow. Actually, if England had looked up, they did have quite an overlap. They could have exploited a bit more out wide.
Bethan Lewis getting some attention. Looks like the lower right leg, and chance for the players to take a breather. Early possession. Look at that for England. Already almost 10 minutes in, 71%.
And they're being very ambitious with that they're not, you know, necessarily demanding that they need to be in the opposition half to run the ball. So we just saw them there moving that ball in their own 22, and then setting a platform and then exiting. So you know, they're really varying their game at the moment and not being dictated to by where they are on the pitch, but more by the quality of ball that they're producing.
No, it's right, time is still off.
England have played 15 previous Test matches here at the Twickenham Stoop. Their 2 losses both against the Black Ferns. 2010 World Cup final almost a decade ago. Who can remember that? Who can forget that? What a day that was. And here they go again. Emily Scott checking inside. She shrugged off a little ankle strain from slipping earlier on. Amber Reid out to DALEY-MCLEAN. England already have made over 100 metres carrying the ball in this game. We're only 10 minutes in. Here's Shauna Brown. Former Commonwealth Games hammer thrower. A real late bloomer in rugby. Didn't start playing until she was 25 years old. And here she is, playing on her home ground for the Red Roses in the Six Nations. What a story of many in this England women's outfit. Emily SCARRATT now to MILLAR-MILLS. Good chop tackle on her by Karen Lake, the inside centre for Wales. Here's Poppy Cleal, the try scorer. Good to see her twin sister Bryony back in action at club level, and England get the penalty, and Leanne Riley wants to force the pace. Amber Reid, that combination she has with Emily SCARRATT looks like the chosen 12 and 13 at the moment for England. Shauna Brown with yet another carry. Riley goes the same way to Cleal. Looks for the offload. Showing patience here. Here's Zoe Aldcroft. Zoe Aldcroft gets away from one. Good run from the second rower. England hunting down a second try. Vicky Cornborough, who won her 50th cap against France in the opening round in front of 15,000 down in the Pyrenees. Here's Sarah Beckett now. Lying all over that is Robin Wilkins, the Welsh fly half. Slow ball for England.
No, she's stuck there. Ball's available.
Already 50 tackles for the Welsh women in this game. Poppy Cleal looking for number 2, and she has it. Poppy Cleal, that close to the line, is almost unstoppable.
England's power game is really standing up right now. Such strong direct carries Wales aren't even having a chance of getting into that ruck and slowing it down because they're so dominant when they carry. They're landing in the perfect position. It's making the support player's job really easy to come over and seal. Look at that fight. Even when there's a hand to her, she's still driving her legs, just gaining, as you mentioned earlier, those extra few yards. And that is why you do it. You get this roll of momentum that's nearly impossible to stop that close to your try line.
Yeah, you know, again, this all stems from the line out that England turned over, and fabulous to see that with the turnover ball that they created, they're willing and able to move it rapidly to the opposite side of the field. And then from there, these dominant carries that you refer to have actually given England that really quick ball. It makes the job of the first clear out so much easier when you're hitting a moving target. And then the leech there of HARRIET, MILLAR-MILLS on Poppy Cleald just to add that extra momentum. They really are on their number right now around the physicality of the game.
And there she is again, Poppy Cleald. She just wants to get her hands on the ball. But that's what you want. From your full pack, you want them to be mobile, agile, aware, constantly offering themselves as runners. And I dare say, after we've seen a few of these direct runs, you're going to start seeing the ball going behind the back, because now Wales are really going to be focused on that direct threat.
Sarah Beckett runs it out for England. 14-0 up. Not even 14 minutes in. Emily SCARRATT. Long kick over the head of Caitlin Lewis over on the right wing side for Wales.
Again, a fabulous kick chase there from England. Double hit on Kira Bevan, nowhere for her to go. England get fantastic field position.
And they got the turnover as well. Riley to Reid. Cockayne. Amy Cockayne spent a long time in New Zealand, out of Fielding High School in the Manawatu province, just north of Wellington, as Lydia Thompson chases this, and all Kaylee Powell can do, can take that over the sideline.
And there, three chasers closing down. So you can see that England have clearly got a strategy here of the kick, but absolutely the energy that's flying in behind the kick chase, the work that they're doing to make sure that there is no way for Wales to return that kick effectively or to run off of it.
There is Emma Cockayne, one of the same school as Aaron Smith, the Whitelock brothers, Cody Taylor, not a bad nursery of rugby, that part of New Zealand. Shauna Brown just touching the whitewash there.
Yeah, strong tackle there coming in from Keris Hale. Well read, actually. They saw that movement. They had two players defending that short channel. Here you go. Kira Bevan goes in with the nice low chop. And in comes the muscle from Keris Hale to finish it off.
Ultimate teamwork. One high, one low.
Double tackles in order. Line-out's been good for Wales. First one went missing, but since then they've certainly cleaned up their act in that department. But this is where the hard work begins. They need to carry the ball out of danger. Another double tackle. That was Cockayne and Fleetwood in tandem for England. Kira Bevan looks like she's shaping for a box kick from the base here. That looks like a sensible option. Lydia Thompson, though, is underneath it. Going back for the penalty decision. Yeah, Vicky Cornborough is the loose head prop for England. The guilty party here. There she is.
Really frustrating here for Wales. They just need to exit that bit earlier. I think we're going to see the foul play element here. Okay, yeah.
Oh, hang on.
That might need to be looked at.
Hang on. Vicky Cornborough on Shuan Lillicrap. We play on. Ball's not out. Imagine the TMO might be having a look at that backhand elbow from Vicky Cornborough. Here's Sarah McKenna. Amber Reid, flat pass to Poppy Cleald. Such a good passer of the ball is the Bristol Bear, Amber Reid, and Vicky Cornborough just knocks that one on in the middle of the field. Let's take another look at that incident a little couple of phases ago.
Now, if you If you want to look at the sort of letter of the law for this fact, that there is direct contact with the head. Now, that is something that the referees are going to want to have a look at again, I think.
Yeah, it's the secondary one that doesn't look very good for Vicky. But the referee not looking back at it and is not going back to look at it at this moment in time.
Yeah, we're hearing that the television match official has reviewed the footage and is happy with the incident. We carry on. Cornborough played in every game for England at the 2017 Rugby World Cup. She really does add solidity to their scrummaging up front. That was a good scrum though from Wales, and they kicked deep over the head of Emily Scott. Scott wanted to kick and chase that, but that spooned off the outside of the right boot, so pretty much a give back for Wales. Ball's out, so Kira Bevan wants to charge in and make sure she picked that up before an England player did. Good clear out ultimately from Wales to secure possession there. Alicia Butchers, the 6, runs into contact, but the open side Bethan Lewis still struggling out there, it looks, and an error from Wales, and it'll be a scrum to England.
See, that's where Wales really need to be more clinical with that ball. This is a sign of better teams. When the opposition make a mistake, you capitalise on it in one way, shape or form, whether that's territory or that's points. There we saw a rare mistake from England with that up and under. It wasn't going where they wanted it to go. Ball back to Wales, but then just that little knock on. They were lucky here to retain possession. Miscommunication on that carry. Got to make sure you have people with you sealing over that ball and protecting it.
These two nations have met on 35 previous occasions. Wales have won twice. Taffs well in 2009, 13-0 at St Helens and Swansea in 2015. And with that kind of scrummaging, they'll certainly stay in the fight here.
So the Welsh scrum, again, getting the better of England there. And it appears the initial hit is equal. And then England slow up and come off of it, almost as if they're expecting that ball to be moved away quickly, and that's when Wales are capitalising, and there's 8 players working together to push them there, and Sarah Beckett has knocked that on at the back.
If there has been an area of concern for the Red Roses, the Six Nations, it has been at scrum time. Simon Middleton and Richard Blaze don't necessarily seem completely sure about their starting props at the moment.
I think it's more, you know, against the French, they really struggled. It was a particular area. Scotland not so bad, but again against Ireland, it wasn't a fantastic platform. And again here now against Wales. And Wales has obviously identified that and decided that that's a place that they're really going to attack. But what they now need to do is make sure that the platform that they now use, having won that scrum, is effective.
Yeah, it is a good platform for Wales, and shooting out of the line was Sarah McKenna. Lisa Newman picks up the loose ball. Referee's asking the assistant if there was a knock-on. Yeah, she's had the nod. There was a knock-on by England, so Wales will get to set another scrum here.
So there, okay, albeit that they were only one sort of half-inch away from of making it into space, they actually haven't. And this scrum, albeit that it's theirs, is further back from where they started. And this is the thing that Wales have got to work on and improve on in actually making progress with the platform that they're creating.
Yeah, I think their ambition to go wide is obviously credit. That's great that they want to do that, but they need to have more direct runners in the centre. Sarah McKenna was able to read that far too easily from the wing and come in and shut down because she didn't feel there was a threat within the centres.
So through to the second quarter of this match. Another strong scrum for Wales. They'll try to edge forward here. Kira Bevan will play to Robin Wilkins on the wraparound inside the left-hand shoulder of Emily Scarratt. Looking for quick ball. They get it, and they come the same way. Wilkins inside ball, but it was a little flat, and another mistake. And Alicia Butchers who plays for the Worcester Warriors in the Tyrrells, spills that one.
Unusual from Alicia, but I will say that she will run that really hard line, and it's right on the money, it's right on the gain line, which unfortunately can sometimes open you up for just here. Look, she's got her eyes on the opposition's player. She takes her eye off that ball just that split second.
For me, Robin Wilkins is telegraphing that that's where it's going. Her hips have started to turn, her shoulders are turning as she's going to give that ball, and isn't offering a threat herself. Thus, players are actually lining up to hit her as she came around that corner, which again often means the ball's going to get spilt.
England had the feed, and Sarah Beckett picks it up off the base and charges into the Wales fly half. KATY DALEY-MCLEAN, inside ball to SCARRATT. Burst through one tackle, and Shuan Lillicrap comes in to help, holds her up, trying to create a maul. And they do win the scrum. Excellent work there from the Bristol and Ospreys number 8, Shuan Lillicrap.
Yeah, we picked her out before the game started. She brings that physicality, that energy, but also that composure. A few phases earlier, you could see her going, sort of gesturing with her hands to sort of just say, calm, calm, stay focused. And she's the only one who initiates that. She actually gets the rest of the team to buy into what she's trying to do here. Fantastic strength.
And for me, that's leading from the front, massively leading from the front. She's like, look, you know, this is Emily Scarratt, and I'm going to keep her up. And she's done that, got turnover ball for the Welsh team.
36th test for Wales today. Lillicrap, more experienced players in this side. Here's Wilkins. They decide to kick this time. There's Emily Scott. Looked like it might have gone a little bit forward over the shoulder, but no, yes, the assistant has intervened, I must say, with the naked eye, even though she had a back turn to the try line she was running towards, it did seem to go over the shoulder.
Yeah, tough one to catch like that as a full-back when you're sort of running away from the ball, trying to turn to catch. It's a difficult one, but you've got to highlight that was fantastically clever gameplay by Wales. They've taken the momentum of that turnover ball gained by Shuan Lillicrap, and they've composure, spread the ball through the hands with a lovely kick. And I think actually that kick from 13 is getting them far better ground than actually trying to exit from 10.
Emily Scott, a Harlequin, formerly a Saracen. Bevan leads the scrum. Namesake Ellis, Bevan played scrum half for the Wales under-20s last night, who had a brilliant one-point win against England up at Kingsholm. What a match that was. Young Sam Costello was an absolute star. Alicia Butchers with a carry, but Poppy Cleal's manhandling her. Lillicrap comes in to help, and Natalia John lends her assistance as well, but that kick's gone straight down the throat.
So two fantastic gain line carries there for Wales. Big clear out, but then slowed up the ball a little bit, so the option to kick, but unfortunately the kick was poor. There was no way any Wales players were getting under there, and that's a very easy mark for England to clear.
DALEY-MCLEAN doesn't find enormous yardage off that clearance, so still a good attacking opportunity off the line out for Wales here.
Yeah, it's something they can definitely challenge with. Unfortunately, as much as their scrum has been a real highlight, their line-out hasn't always connected, and we actually see in this game another change. When you talk about those selection changes, the second row has been changing each game as well, so we've actually got 2 new partnerships in there today.
They go long off the line out, too long. It's over the head of everybody, and Sarah Beckett's onto it. DALEY-MCLEAN. Reed, slightly high arm in the tackle from Lillicrap. The England fans are trying to let the referee know all about that. Steal for Wales. Here is the Wales captain at scrum half, but no, there's a penalty. Yeah, they did pick up the high shot after all. More of that seatbelt style we see that's no-go these days.
Yeah, and you know, when you've got across there and covered the ground, because actually England had a 5-on-3 there, and Lillicrap comes across to make that tackle, and it's a shame that she does go high because she's done everything else right but that. And these are the things that, you know, you were talking about, Philippa, about taking your opportunities when you've got them, and you've got the chance there to really get England wide without many support around her.
Leanne Riley with the juggling act holds on to possession. Is Vicky Fleetwood. She was a hooker at the World Cup in 2017, now an open side. Emily Scott shows and goes. Aldcroft, short ball to Cockayne. DALEY-MCLEAN sees a gap and she's through it. That's support inside, but she's there. KATY DALEY-MCLEAN. Her 16th try for England. And that's their third of the match.
She's almost like the sleepy speedster, isn't she? You don't actually think about her being that fast, and she is more than happy to just deliver that ball, kick for territory, but when she sees that gap, she can go for it. She carved the Welsh defence up so easy, even putting that step, full pace against the fullback, Kayleigh Powell. Fantastic work. What a lift for England at this time.
For me, that's superb fly half play. She's been orchestrating the play. She's been putting her forwards in on the gain line and waiting for her moment. She spots that it's Gwilym Purse in the line opposite against her and who's never going to make it there. That step's fantastic with a little handoff, but the way she's controlled this game so far has allowed her to take that space because she hasn't yet run as a threat. She's just distributed and she's waited for a moment. Absolutely superb, and the England fans there loving every minute of it.
Crowd enjoyed that one. KATY DALEY-MCLEAN. She, of course, lifted the World Cup as captain of England in 2014, and Emily Scarratt's missed one. She's human after all. Off the upright. Remains 19-0, 29 minutes in.
England's conversion rate in the 22 is superb at the moment, which would have been one of their main aims as they came into this game, as it hasn't been the case through the tournament. But this was, you know, absolutely superb, and you can see there she's enjoying every minute of that.
Reminds me of the try she scored at Allianz Park on the occasion of a 100th Test match. That was a run away from about 50 metres out.
She tells it as 70 metres.
Of course she does. Sarah Beckett. Most of her carries are of a shorter distance, but they're very effective.
Well, that's
Riley.
frustrating for the players, very frustrating. You know, fabulous carry there from Beckett to get a momentum, and then Sean Lillicrap lies all over it.
Well, you get away with what you get away with. Scarratt under pressure. Kicks that up to the Wales 10-metre line. Chasing from England has been excellent.
Number 7.
Advantage Wales. Vicky Fleetwood, number 7, being called out. So free hit here for the Welsh women. Can they make something of it? Butchers again. Harriet, Millar-Mills and Cleal. The balls come out. They'll go back for the original decision. It's another high tackle is the call. Oh, it was number 1. It was Vicky Cornborough.
High tackle number 1.
She's making her name known, but potentially not to the right person.
Yeah, he's just got a little high.
Not the first time we've been watching Vicky Cornborough on a replay for a high hand in this match.
Yeah, she's going to have to be careful, you know. It's all about the pictures that you paint to the referee, and the referee will pick that up now, especially going into the 22. If something like that happens, she could be in trouble.
Line out drive, moving forward for Wales. They've got the advantage as well. Shauna Brown's got herself on the Welsh side, and Wales will play. Hannah Jones left out the previous match. Straight back in to start for this one. Robin Wilkins with the kick pass, but it's a little bit too deep, and Emily Scott can calmly take that, but there was a penalty coming.
Number 4, screwing up the ball.
penalty advantage, so why not go for it? Show that little bit of creativity. The one thing you don't want to be, especially in the 22, is predictable, because that allows the defence to just shoot up and shut you down. So clever by Robin Wilkins there. Acknowledge the advantage. Let's put in a little kick over the top and just keep the defence guessing. And
why not kick to the corner? The line-out's been good. The catch and drive has been good as well.
And this is the opportunities that you're talking about, Philippa, where Wales have got to capitalise. They want to make points. This is their moment, and they have to take this moment. If scoring points is their main aim today, this is it.
First things first, need to secure the line out. Kelsey Jones, but it's gone too long again over the head of Bethan Lewis. Opportunity missed for Wales to put pressure on the Red Roses. That's their 4th loss on their own throw at the line out. DALEY-MCLEAN will clear England's lines. Frustrating for Wales to get themselves into such good position.
Really frustrating, as I mentioned before, that the line-out hasn't been quite working, so they've tried reshuffling, and Kelsey Jones, the hooker there, her darts are straight and true, but it just seems to be the timing is off. They don't quite get that lifter. But that's twice now we've seen back ball not work. They need to mix it up, change it up.
And that's what makes it even more frustrating, because that error was compounded by Wales, nothing to do with England whatsoever, and that's when it becomes really frustrating.
We mentioned Bethan Lewis have been struggling the open side. Another line-out loss for Wales. Lewis has been replaced by Robin Locke, who's out there in the 20 shirt. DALEY-MCLEAN over the head of Kayleigh Powell. She keeps that in field, but almost fell into the hands of Emily Scott, who was on the chase, and it's a penalty to England. Just got themselves offside there. Lisa Newman.
Number 11, offside.
And there, England's superb chase. All 3 of them just get beaten by the bounce of the ball, because it's so aggressive, so energetic. If you watch here, all 3 of them really running hard, and it would close her down. And then literally, they've worked so hard that all 3 have been beaten by the bounce of the ball.
It really does set this England team apart, doesn't it? Their kicking game, the ability they have to turn teams around and find good field position.
It's the kick chase that is making the difference. So when Wales are kicking, their kicks aren't able to be chased in that way, and they're not being chased with the same energy, whereas England's are being placed beautifully, and the chase is just superb.
DALEY-MCLEAN with a carry there. That was a 542nd point in Test rugby. She's now back within 3 of Emily Scarratt, all-time for England, but it's another penalty to Wales. It's been fascinating, this points race between Scarratt and DALEY-MCLEAN. She put out a very amusing image on Instagram this week after Emily Scarratt was 0 for 4 in the wind and at Castle Park in Doncaster last time out.
I did actually ask her about that, because they seem to have these little chats when KATY DALEY-MCLEAN is holding the ball, and there's the odd smirk, and apparently she has on the odd occasion said, you know, don't miss this, make sure you get this. Just these little quirks just to keep them smiling. As they say, the ultimate performance is when you're confident and you're smiling.
And that's the sort of thing that eggs you on to do better and better.
Yeah.
That's better from Wales at the line out. On the boil, Lily Crapp. Georgia Evans. Wilkins kicks. And she's timed that very well. Yeah, a good couple of phases there from Wales off the line out. They can continue that kind of efficiency. That'll stand them in good stead.
And Sean Lineker again, the aggression that she's coming onto the ball, and you know, she's making a real difference for Wales at the moment. Huge go-to player.
Cocaine to Cleal. DALEY-MCLEAN. Beckett just runs straight and hard. Her opposite number, Lily Crapp, makes the tackle. Good line speed from Wales there. Riley saw a half gap. It closed pretty quickly. Good hands from Sarah Beckett with her left arm. That was a pass that went behind her. DALEY-MCLEAN kicks again. Dribbling again towards the sideline. Powell under pressure again. Lydia Thompson has it, and she's been bundled over the sideline. That kick chase again, Giselle, you've been talking about it all afternoon.
It's a tactic that's turning Wales back three inside out at the moment. You know, they'd almost be better to just let that ball roll into touch, get together as a whole group, but the back three are trying to pick it up. And, you know, you've got England chasers straight on the ball, and there's no forwards around to help them, no other players. You can see the rest of the Welsh side are miles away from the situation, and they would be better almost to just get that into touch and regroup as a whole team.
You've really got to wonder, what is their communication? You know, is Kayleigh Powell being talked to then? Because the first one was she tried to keep it back in. There was no Wales support there at all. They need to communicate to one another more in the back three.
Advantage England here as Miller-Mills breaks away from the driving maul. DALEY-MCLEAN, the kick passes on, was charged down by Wilkins, but we go back for the penalty as the maul was collapsed.
Good to see Robin Wilkins actually responding to the fact that Katy's trying to dictate the game there and really closing her down. She did superbly there to stop that.
They'll go to the corner.
And here we go. England's go-to. Driving maul.
Time off for a second, we're just waiting for a boot.
Sarah Beckett's lost her right boot in back play. She's just putting that on. Here's a look at the line-out stats. Pretty tough reading from a Welsh point of view.
Really tough, and especially in this type of game where you need to exit, you need to go for those kicks. You've got to be sure your line out. It's just not clicking for Wales.
No such problems for England. Cleo won it, and they're heading towards the line, and they're there. That's the bonus point try, and it's Vicky Fleetwood who comes up with the goods. Already England have 4 before half-time.
England having that opportunity to go to what is renowned in women's world rugby as their, you know, superb super strength. I mean, you know, it's obviously straight off a training park, but the girls, the body positions there, look at the leg drive from every single one of them. They're organised, they know exactly where it is, everyone driving forward, and Vicky does the job at the end to score the try. Yes, it'll go down to her name, but whole pack.
Yeah, it's a compliment, isn't it, that Wales don't even put a jumper up to try and compete. They know what's coming. They keep the bodies on the ground to just try and put everyone into stopping it. But as you say, it's so powerful, it's so connected, it's so well organised, it's just too difficult to keep out.
Yeah, personally, I think I would go because of its strength and how good it is. I would try and take it off in the air and to get those girls up there to try and stop that happening.
SCARRATT missed the previous attempt, but she certainly nailed that one. Winning hearts and minds, the Red Roses.
I wonder which team that little one plays for.
Vicky Fleetwood, her 12th test try for England. She went to school with Manu Tuolangi. He'll be playing across the road this afternoon in the centres for England. Men, that is. DALEY-MCLEAN kicks to the sideline as we count down to the end of this first half. It was a cracking start from England. Wales came into the game in the middle part of that half, but as tries to DALEY-MCLEAN and Fleetwood, Roses just reasserting their authority.
Yeah, I think the line out has let them down, but equally you've got to give credit to England in that kicking game. It's really pinned them back, put pressure on. The one positive is that scrum. There we go, a line out that's connecting. See what they can do with this.
Poppy Cleal makes the tackle on Kira Bevan. So this is the final play of the first half. Shauna Brown with a counter ruck. Kelsey Jones comes away with it, and Wales will take their medicine and head to the sheds. Welcome back to the Twickenham Stoop. A change for England. Mia Venner, 17 years of age, makes her debut for the Red Roses, and we are back underway. 26-0 at half-time to the Red Roses. 4 tries in that first half, and they'll be looking to carry on here in the second 40. One of the try scorers, KATY DALEY-MCLEAN, gets a kicking game going once more. Not for the first time. Goes over the head of Kayleigh Powell, the Wales fullback, and she sends it back to DALEY-MCLEAN, who slides and catches and kicks it straight down the line and makes some pretty good yards. Good to see Mia Venner out there. Giselle, I know she's a player you know well.
Yeah, she turned up at our Centre of Excellence when she was 15 at Wasps, and straight away you could see that there was a player with a, was going to make a real impact in the game. She's now down at Gloucester Hartbury doing her A-levels down there, so she's due to sit her A-levels this summer, and so this is a huge moment for her. She's a beautiful runner, and this will be a magical, magical moment for her and her family.
5 tries in 8 starts for Gloucester Hartbury, often a fullback at club level. She's taken a place on the left wing. It's penalty to Wales here. Incredible, really. 17 years of age, as you say. She's doing her A-levels in a couple of months.
But isn't
She's
it
out
fantastic?
here playing for the Red Roses in at 6 Nations.
We're seeing so many young players coming through. You've got Parsons, the winger for Ireland. She actually has now had to pull, well, they haven't got any more games to play now, but originally she pulled out because she's got to complete her leaving certificate in school, which just makes me feel so old, but equally elated that so many young players are getting their opportunities and are good enough to get their opportunities.
Well, if you're feeling old, I'm feeling positively ancient, Philippa. Zoe Aldcroft. She's still a relative youngster at this level. And this is Sarah Beckett, who goes through an enormous gap, gives it to Vicky Fleetwood. Important tackle made by Caitlin Lewis. England looking for number 5 here. Pass has gone behind KATY DALEY-MCLEAN. And there's Mia Venner's first touch. Does well to make sure that England maintain possession. Cleal, 2 tries in the first 40. Bursting through is Harriet MILLAR-MILLS, and that will be a hugely popular score for the Red Roses. 22 months out with a triple knee operation. She's back starting for England and back scoring tries.
What an amazing line there for Harriet MILLAR-MILLS. Absolutely love that. Obviously working with her for the time that she's been out of the game, but that line there that she took, coming off a beautiful flat pass from KATY DALEY-MCLEAN, right across there, finds the gap, and absolute determination in. Fabulous moment for Harriet.
Great way for England to capitalise on a Welsh mistake there. Line out wasn't functioning and they turn it into a positive like this. This is how clinical, the top teams in the world are. Few simple hands, but cut with the brilliant line that she offered. Just got straight through that Welsh defence.
And it's the flat ball across the front of the line, and operating skills on the line like that, right in the face of defenders, is a real challenge, and something that when you work every day, ball in hand, you get better and better at. And the more depth that you can cut off, the better it is. And again, that was another fabulous line right on the line. Flat passes from KATY to create the opportunity, and young Mia Venner keeping that ball in is why England then had the opportunity to make that score. Really good skills all round across the team.
Yeah, you can see the joy among Harriet MILLAR-MILLS' teammates after that try. She's playing a 55th test for England today. Great to see her back. DALEY-MCLEAN. Beckett, double tackle on her. And they force the error.
Good initial reaction back to what is, early try being scored second half. That's obviously, she once had them behind the sticks now, had a talk with them, reset, go again, good intensity.
And the power of the double hit there from the Welsh, you know, causing Sarah. And Sarah trying to get that away. You have to win your collisions before you can think about offloading, and she didn't because it was a 2v1. And then she tried to get the ball away, and hence the Welsh have forced the error.
So in the first half, Wales weren't quite able to make the most of their attacking opportunities. Scrum's a good platform for them. Has been all game. Edging forward again. Bevan. Karen Lake carries it into the England defensive line. Slow ball though. Natalia John. They go with a switch play through Blake, but she's running out of support players. Hannah Jones is all on her own out there. And she has to check back inside towards her forward support.
One's fine. It's got it back.
So playing a little narrow at the moment, Wales, just unable to use as much width as they would like. Chip through from Wilkins, and McKenna can't hold on to that one. Yeah, we'll go back. Scrum for Wales, so edging forward.
Initially, really good idea there by Robin Wilkins. She's recognised they've tried left, they've tried right, they're not going anywhere. Doing that low grubber is a really difficult one to field, but her accuracy, I mean, she did give it straight on a plate there to McKenna, and she'll be frustrated, as you can see with herself, that she didn't field that. So right idea, but actually lucky with the way that that turned out.
Georgia Evans has been replaced by Gwen Crabb, who plays for the Worcester Warriors in the Tyrrells.
Crouch. Bind. We had this issue in the first half. We need to let each other bind.
Attacking scrum for Wales. Good platform. Caitlin Lewis at first receive has come off her wing, hands it off to Karen Lake.
Oh, sorry, Ryan.
Well, just apologising for the referee there, running into the referee. Gwen Crabb with her first touch. Wilkins shifts it across to Hannah Jones. Maintaining possession. Here's the tight head, Keris Hale. That's a knock on from Pearce.
Advantage, knock on.
A loose head. So it's 10 handling errors in this match so far for Wales. They're being put under a lot of pressure by this Red Roses line speed, and it's not often they get down this end of the field with possession.
Time off.
Yeah, initially there was a really good bit of movement there off the scrum. You saw Caitlin Lewis coming in at first receiver, so just asking questions, just giving a little bit of a different picture in attack. But they're really struggling to get momentum off their face play. Here, this carry, Gwen Crabb, I think she's caught in two minds there. Do I pass it? Do I carry it? With players like that, you want them head down, straight in.
Well, it's about to make twice the tackles of England in this match. Hannah Jones back in the starting 15 for Wales today. You good, pleased to see her back, Philippa?
Yeah, absolutely. She's such an experienced player, very prominent on the 7 scene as well as the 15s, actually been called in to the GB extended training squad for the Olympics. So really exciting player, and she just brings a level of calmness. I'm telling you, the girl has the most amazing poker face. You never know what she's thinking or feeling, which is kind of what you want on the field.
Yeah, she's been training, as you say, with the wider Team GB7's training squad, along with Jasmine Joyce and Kira Bevan. Wales scrum half today, those 3 involved in that wider squad.
Jasmine Joyce, absolutely electric, and you know, her being in that setup means that missing her from the 15s, she really does add something quite special.
Yeah, Ollie Phillips, former England Sevens captain, is now on board as the coach of the Wales women's Sevens team. Trying to get them into the top level of World Sevens. KATY Powell just calmly touches that forward. I thought she'd done that quite efficiently, but just on the second grab, just knocks it forward. You can see what she was trying to do.
You can see what she's trying to do, but you can also see the frustration coming through her now. New to the position, this is her debut in the Six Nations. She's one of those very talented players that can play anywhere. In the training camp, in the Welsh camp, she's been training at 9, centre at 15, but I think that's almost hindered her a bit. If they're going to start her week in, week out at 15, she needs to become a specialist there.
Hannah Bottoman has taken the field at loose head props. Sarah Byrne is out there as well on the tight head side. There was a big cheer for the two Harlequins as they left the field. Vicky Cornborough and Shauna Brown, their day is done. Injuries notwithstanding to the front row. DALEY-MCLEAN, Amber Reid, short ball to SCARRATT. We saw that move down in Pau in the opening round against France that resulted in the winning try. Couldn't get through this time. Here's Lydia Thompson. She does know her way to the try line. She's got 40 test tries, just a 32nd cap today for Lydia Thompson. What a strike rate that is. Leanne Riley being manhandled by Alicia Butchers. Poppy Cleal picks and goes. Poppy Cleal, already 2 tries in the game, and Poppy Cleal will rumble over for her hat-trick. Outstanding score for Poppy Cleal.
Best mate Bottoman might not be that chuffed that she didn't offload that, and I have a feeling that the banter around that might go on well into the night. So superb break from Poppy there, and then as she's coming in, it is Bottoman that is on her shoulder, and as you watch through here, she makes that lovely show and go with Bottoman, and then she's there, fix the fullback and put her away, and she chooses not to. That is going to go on long into the night.
Yeah, she chooses to fix the fullback and the winger and run straight through them.
But the power of Poppy Cleal there, and you know, it is a physical game, and Poppy brings that every single time she plays. That contact, that self-belief in what she's got there, and she brings it to the game, and that makes the difference.
And it's the agility, isn't it? I mean, she's picking up at scrum half here, having a show and go, spotting a gap, backing herself, having the awareness to see where the support play is, at least, even if she doesn't use it.
She saw Bottoman on the outside. She definitely knew she was there.
She probably gave her a wink.
She did.
Hannah Bottom has only got 2 test tries. That's Poppy Cleal's 12th.
This is going to run and run and run.
Robin Wilkins gets us back underway. England up to 40. And we're just 51 minutes in. Here is Hannah Bottoman. She does love carrying the rugby ball, as does Sarah Beckett. So much depth in this England team to bring on the likes of Byrne and Bottoman to force the issue in the second half. That one sits up nicely for KATY Powell. She returns it straight back to DALEY-MCLEAN now. She's got Sarah McKenna with her, back in her usual position of fullback. Started the game on the left wing. Gets rid of Powell. Riley goes the short side to DALEY-MCLEAN. Nice flat pass across to Thompson. Good to see Lydia Thompson back from injury. No Jess Breach, another Harlequin for the rest of the Six Nations. Apparently Lydia Thompson tackled her at training, which resulted in Jess Breach's injury. The things you'll do to make the starting 15, eh? Sarah Byrne ran into heavy contact there. That was physical stuff, and it's resulted in a Welsh penalty.
Yeah, great work on the floor there by Gwen Crabb. She's going to be keen to prove a point. She's normally been the starter week in, week out in the second row, but for the first time here, we saw a change with her being on the bench, so I feel she's really got a point to prove.
another outcome of the pressure that England's carries are having at the moment, because they're fighting the fight in each single battle. They're taking it forward, so the fold of the Welsh defence has to go back around the breakdown, which is making it much slower. The speed of the ball that England get is much quicker because it's going there, which is why the outside defence is so stressed.
Hannah Bluck from Worcester, another player who plays in the Tyrrells, out there for Caitlin Lewis. Butchers wins the line out at the back. Bevan, those under pressure from Byrne. Wilkins, Lillicrap. Good carry from the number 8 once more. There's Wilkins again. She's got plenty of options. Decides to give it to Hannah Jones. DALEY-MCLEAN going in for the steal for England. Doesn't win it. Bevan decides to kick. McKenna takes it for England. Here's Bottoman putting a hand up. That second pass to Beckett, not floats back to Bottoman. Hannah Bottoman's away. Try scorer in the 2 previous Tyrrells Premier 15s finals. Here come England again. McKenna to Sarah Burns. She loses the ball in contact. It was a good hit over there from Lisa Newman. But how about Hannah Bottoman? Gee whiz.
She has made an impact, and let's be fair, that is a finisher's job, to come on and make an impact. Beautiful hands there, but look at this offload. That's outrageous from Sarah Beckett. But Bottoman is ready for it. But the thing I love, she's a prop and she is scanning everywhere. Probably if she'd seen Poppy Cleal, she wouldn't have given it to her, but everybody else may well have received the ball. But she's scanning, she's looking, she's strong, and then taking that contact, looks after the ball, places it back. Fabulous play from both players.
It's the modern front row now, isn't it? You want them to be able to bolster that scrum. You want them to be powerful on those short carries, but equally, if they get a chance to break, you want them to go.
Yeah, that awareness you're talking about, scanning the defence. Front rower with a huge, huge future in the game. Hannah Bottoman, and he just turned 20. Changes for England. Sarah Hunter has come off the bench to win her 123rd cap, and Natasha Hunt out there for Liam Riley wins her 54th for England. Gwethlyn Pearce sets up a breakdown. Robin Wilkins can't hold on to the pass from Keris Hale, so England will have a gilt-edged opportunity here with an attacking scrum, about 15 out, right in front of the sticks. Changes for Wales. Coming on is Lauren Smith, wearing 23. She'll replace the fullback Kaylee Powell.
And errors like that are compounded because of the relentlessness of the England defence. They're coming up. The pressure, the energy is still as good as it was at the beginning of the game. And the Welsh receivers now have just got this white wall coming at them consistently. And so they've got half an eye on the ball and half an eye on the defence. No space to work in, and the ball keeps going down.
Sarah Hunter robs possession, but can't hold on, and Wilkins will kick clear. Here's Natasha Hunt, World Cup winner 2014, and Mia Venner has drifted into midfield to have a carry. Speaking of which, up steps Hannah Bottoman. DALEY-MCLEAN, cut out ball to Sarah Byrne. Good tackle on her from Hannah Jones. Again, looking after Burns so far. Poppy Cleal, haven't looked after her today. She's got 3 tries. Reid to Cockayne to Bottoman, stands in the tackle. Cockayne's with her to secure possession. Amber Reid, slightly wayward pass. DALEY-MCLEAN reacts well. Lydia Thompson goes in at the ruck to make sure they win the ball. Here's Sarah Hunter. Speaking of test tries, Sarah Hunter's got 29 of them. Byrne bounces off one, and she's away, Sarah Byrne. 5 tries in last year's Six Nations. Mo Hunt keeps it going. Miller-Mills, Poppy Cleal, Scarratt. Emily Scarratt on 46 test tries, hunting down 47 that Nolly Waterman scored in her brilliant career for England. Slightly offside, but here's Poppy Cleal, there's the offload, and here's the score. And it's Amy Cockayne who celebrates her 50th cap for the Red Roses with a try. What a moment for Amy Cockayne.
When the front row are adding as much as the front row are adding, so Amy Cockayne, Hannah Bottoman and Sarah Byrne charging about the field, taking the gaps all over the place, making players make tackles. You then have players like Harriet Miller-Mills who can actually use the handling skills they've got and find themselves in wider positions because the front row are working so hard. And when that happens, the team can just function so well, and this is what England are doing.
They are literally, they've given them an energy boost, haven't they? They are adding so much value right now to England's gameplay. I mean, we've talked about their power game in the first half, but now you've got a power game with agility and awareness against what is now a Welsh team that are starting to tire. We looked at their tackle count in the first half. It's way up there now into the second, so tired bodies out there.
Emily Scarratt adds the extra 2. England up to 47. Worth noting, their biggest win against Wales was 81-0 at Cardiff Arms back in 2005. Still 20 minutes to go. Yeah, late change for team sheet for Wales. Lakey George is out there at number 23. There she is. And it's a celebrity send-off. But Royal Air Force police officer Amy Cockayne, 50 tests for the Red Roses and a try. Not a bad day out on your home patch. So a message from Sarah Goss, the Black Ferns 15s World Cup winner and Sevens captain, who was at the same high school in Fielding in New Zealand as Amy Cockayne, just wishing her all the best and saying what a great person she is. She could have been a Black Fern, Amy Cockayne, if she'd stayed in New Zealand, moved out there with the family. Her father was in the Royal Air Force. Had this incredible winning run with a high school team there, and Gary Street sat down with her in 2014, Amy Cockayne, and said, "You fancy coming back to England, and do you fancy coming in and playing for the Red Roses?" A year later, she makes her debut here at the Twickenham Stoop against Italy, and still just 23 years of age, 50 tests, quite extraordinary.
And she's missed 9 months while she trained at the RAF as well. Yeah. So she wasn't, you know, then she had to go into training and she couldn't play. So it's absolutely extraordinary to reach 50 caps and to make the impact that she does. And she's probably one of the best line-out throwers in the world.
And she's a great ball player. She played flight half for the Royal Air Force in the inter-services last year.
And she can kick a ball from 122 to the other as well. She'll tell you that very proudly.
Wales kicking. Venner. Charge down, Mia Venner. Opportunity for Wales, and it just evades Karen Lake. But was she tackled before she got to the ball? We might go upstairs here.
She was tackled before she touched the ball. This is going to be a problem for England.
The white player must tackle the red one without the ball.
Okay, thank you. Ollie, have you got me?
Yeah, go ahead, Emma.
We just want to check for the white player, what number? That's right. White player taking the red player off the ball.
Yeah.
Yep, check that now. It's coming on the screen for you.
Yeah, so early tackle by 21. 21. No. Back we go.
It's Natasha Hunt.
You see that clearly,
Yes.
Amber?
In
So
question
Ollie,
here.
I've got an early tackle by white 21.
Yep.
I've got it that she's prevented a probable try. So it's going to be a penalty try and a yellow card against 21 white.
Yep.
Yes?
I agree.
You've tackled it.
47 points ahead. I'm not going for her.
Right.
Like, honestly, Steph. I'm not
What
going
we
for
have,
her.
let me speak. What we have seen is he's tackled her early, prevented a probable try, so it's a yellow card and a penalty try. Okay?
Natasha Hunt has to head to the sideline for 10 minutes. She pleaded her innocence, but the end result is a penalty try for Wales. And these days, that's an automatic 7.
And that is a real win for Wales. I said before the game building up to this, they needed to just get points on the board. But in fairness to them, you could have questions about that kick. I think the fumble by the England backs there allowed them to get into that kick and actually get that charge down. But equally, points are points, and that's a real positive for Wales.
47-7 with that penalty try. Zoe Harrison has come on to the field for England to replace Amber Reid. England without a scrum half here. It'll be interesting to see what they do in possession. Perhaps KATY DALEY-MCLEAN will go and look after that part of the game. Penalty England. Hannah Bottoman steps right up just outside the Wales 22. When you've lost a player to a yellow card, it's just what your forwards to do to step up with the work rate.
It really is, but what happened then was Alicia Butchers just had that moment of hesitation on the ball, which meant that when she did offload, she was taken out as well. If you are going to tip onto a stronger ball carrier like Karis Hale, good idea. Do it earlier so then you can follow that player in to secure the ball.
And you get that grow forward and that nudge on the gain line, which makes the next play much easier. It looks like KATY DALEY-MCLEAN may well be going into scrum half here with Zoe Harrison in at 10. And that'll be a very interesting role to see KATY in.
I'm sure KATY DALEY-MCLEAN is more than capable of filling that role here for England, if that is what's going to happen. She's such a talented rugby player. A couple of players getting some attention here. Poppy Cleal, she's back on her feet.
I wonder if we're going to see her sniping around the breakdown and
Imagine Sarah
generally
Hunter
causing
coming on,
chaos.
comes in, adds some advice ahead of this attacking line out. Look at that, 754 metres made, double the carries for England. So dominant. But Wales have stolen it at the front. That was brilliant work from Natalia John.
No.
Kira Bevan's just calling in some reinforcements here. Karen Lake has stepped up. Look at the double tackle though from Aldcroft and Fleetwood. Cleal drives them over the line, and is it a try? Yes, it is. It's Zoe Aldcroft, the 2 second rowers, with the double tackle, and it's Zoe Aldcroft who scores just her 2nd try for England.
It's that exiting that's not quite happening here for Wales. when they're aware of how strong the England pack are, how dynamic they are, especially that close to the try line, they need to exit earlier. Kira Bevan there was in a great position to put a box kick. Granted, England had players set back, they probably would have fielded it, but it would have just relieved that pressure, get them away from their try line. So savvy by the England players though. Constantly aware of how not only to defend with intensity, but how can at any point we turn this into attack.
Talking to Abby Scott, who is the line-out leader for England. Previous Six Nations, England injured so far for this one, but so much depth in that position, particularly the likes of Kath O'Donnell, Rosie Gallagher unavailable at the moment. Cleal can step in and play second row. And Aldcroft's been absolutely outstanding this tournament.
Yeah, it's lovely to see her get that try. It's one that she thoroughly deserves. But you know, when you have a front five that are doing what England's front five can do, it allows the back row to be that aggressive. It allows them to go at breakdowns. It allows them to use their handling skills and link with backs. And the England front five, as you say, right across the board, from the finishers, the starters, and those that are sitting at home at the moment in the squad, but not in this 23. It's a phenomenal area, and that keeps them all working hard all the time in training, so that they can be the one that earns the shirt.
A couple of changes for England. Amelia Harper, who made her debut against France in the opening round. She's out there for England in the 20 shirt. It's gone out on the full, so we'll have to go all the way back.
This is going to test Katy Daly-McLean's cardiovascular fitness. Her GPS data will be going through the roof right now as she's running in at 9. It'll be interesting to see if the ball keeps moving away at the pace that it is. She's going to have to get across that field. Completely different set of fitness for a 9 and a 10.
33 years young. World Cup a year away. World Cup winner 2014, captain of the Red Rose of that tournament. Olympian, Team GB Sevens, multiple Six Nations and Grand Slam winner. What hasn't she done? Emily Scarratt, World Player of the Year. Gets rid of one defender. Zoe Harrison, inside ball to a Saracens teammate, Hannah Bottoman. McKenna to Fleetwood. So it'll knock on there, so Wales will have the scrum. Just up to date with another change. Heather Kerr's come on in 16 shirt for England to replace Amy Buchanan.
So due to the disruptions and the fact that England are now 14, you can see they've just lost a little bit of their momentum, and this is what England talk about when controlling all 80 minutes. So, you know, they've got a lot of disruptions, new combinations out on the field, and different people in leadership positions, and this is when they have to really work hard to regain that momentum and work out and solve problems on the field. And it's something that they've been talking a lot about in preparation for games.
Straight arm penalty, collapsing the scrum as the call.
17, collapsing.
They'll go to the corner once more. The line out on the previous occasion was stolen off them.
Yeah, that's it, there on you. Back on the front player, please.
So Heather Kerr. Line out throw just a little bit too high for Zoe Aldcroft. There was a knock on the floor from Wales as they tried to scoop it up. Robin Lott. Well, great crowd in here at the Twickenham Stoop here today. There were 10,000 sold earlier in the week, and they've almost reached 11,000 here. It's one of the biggest crowds for a Red Roses game in England. 10,974. Great attendance. England-Wales at the Twickenham Stoop. DALEY-MCLEAN at scrum half with Natasha Hunt still in the sin bin for another 3 minutes. Sarah Hunter picks it up off the base and heads towards the line. Sarah Hunter. Hannah Bottoman. Bottoman scores for England.
It was just that pressure building, wasn't it? You could tell that something was going to creak somewhere. Really unlucky with Shu and Lillicrap on the floor, knocking it on, just giving them that possession. Such a strong carry here from Sarah Hunter. Fends one, twists, ducks, dives, gets that carry. She sucks in 4 or 5 Welsh players there, and that's when it's panicking, and then that's where the slightly weak tackles can come. But what a line from Hannah Bottoman.
And for me, this is where, you know, when you have lost a little bit of momentum, that you go to your carriers. But the good thing there, you can see as Sarah came off the back of that, she was looking for somebody to pass to, and I think she wanted her blindside winger Mia Venner to come in on that line, but then reacts to the fact that that's not there, and then puts in an incredibly powerful carry, and Bottoman reacting too, and you're never going to stop her from that space out. Fabulous work by both players.
They've scored 3 tries with Natasha Hunt in the sin bin, England.
That's the way to respond to a yellow card, isn't it?
I think, Philippa, as you said earlier, the amount of tackles Wales have had to have, the possession is hugely in England's favour. They've had to turn, the big forwards have had to turn several times because of the kick chase game, and the fatigue levels are now incredibly high.
Good chase on the restart. Hunter just unable to hold on to possession. Robin Locken at fly half to Wilkins, who started the game at fly half. Slightly loose pass from Lakey George, but Wales have held onto the ball. Bottoman the counter right. Harper comes around the side. Penalty Wales. She did get a warning from the referee. Amelia Harper desperate to get involved. The Loughborough Lightning loose forward.
Yeah, you mentioned there about the tackles. Nearly up to 200 tackles, Wales.
Okay, there's been some impressive performances from England, especially in this match. Time to do the Six Nations Player of the Match, and who have you chosen, Giselle Mader?
So there's been some outstanding performances, as you say. From Wales, Siwan Lillicrap has been absolutely outstanding. You've had KATY DALEY-MCLEAN has orchestrated the game superbly, but to score 3 tries from the second row, to have carried and kept the impetus going, you can't go beyond Poppy Cleall for today's Player of the Match. She's had an absolutely outstanding game. She's shown agility, power, pace, aggression. She's set a platform. So they're over. It looks easy, but it isn't. You have to really leg drive and work incredibly hard. Her body position is good, and she has to look after the ball.
This one, wasn't it?
And then, yeah, as she shows there, refuses to give it to her mate. But look at that, the determination. She has had an absolutely outstanding game and deserves her accolade from the crowd.
17 carries, 93 metres, 100% tackle success, and a hat-trick of tries. Just to
and all from the second row. All from the second row. You know, back row you might expect figures like that, perhaps, but from the second row, that really does make it quite exceptional.
And this is a shame to see here from Gwen Crabb. She's had a nasty knee injury back in 2018 that she worked super hard to come back from, so fingers crossed that this is nothing too serious now. There's one thing you can never fault with Wales. They absolutely put their bodies on the line and they will defend ruthlessly to the very end.
Molly Kelly, who's a hooker by trade, has come on for Gwen Crabb. Wales have tapped and gone here. Robin Locke. Ball's gone forward. Sarah Hunter has it. And she's off to the races. Still 7 minutes to go here. England.
What a rip tackle
that
was.
Will be playing their final game of the Six Nations with that final round match against Italy indefinitely postponed. DALEY-MCLEAN kicks deep. Robin Wilkins back at fullback. She chips over the top. Lydia Thompson reads it well. Chest passes it back to DALEY-MCLEAN and she just angles another one and turns around Wilkins once again. Mo Hunt's back out there. She's done her time. KATY DALEY-MCLEAN can go back to fly half. Aldcroft wins the line out in the middle. Here's Fleetwood. Flat ball to SCARRATT. Gets through the tackle of Lillicrap. Emily SCARRATT. She's got Natasha Hunt with her. Heather Kerr arrives. England still at the ball. Zoe Harrison, McKenna, Sarah McKenna. She's over the try line, but might have been held up. She has been.
Great scramble D there by Wales. Had their line broken 2-3 times, still staying in the game, still fighting to get back, and that held up there. Really impressive.
And in terms of the England attack, that beautiful flat ball again from KATY DALEY-MCLEAN, but then I feel that that pass from Emily SCARRATT should have gone to Natasha Hunt a fraction earlier. And then as the ball moves out this way, if Sarah McKenna had fixed there and given it to Mia, we might have had a try on debut.
She's had a reasonably quiet day with the ball in hand, Emily SCARRATT today, hasn't she? We haven't seen her carry and run those beautiful lines that we've seen in the last few games.
But I feel that she's been a threat, the line she's run, so Welsh defenders have had to go with her. Both she and Amber have held their defenders all the way through, and we've seen the back three have much more of the ball because of it.
Yeah, just 6 carries for Emily SCARRATT so far this afternoon.
And when the front five are causing chaos all over the field with all the carries, you don't really need to be the major strike weapon as perhaps she was against Ireland.
We were doing some vox pops earlier on before kick-off today with some of the fans, and young lady was asked who's the better player, Emily SCARRATT or Owen Farrell. Without hesitation, SCARRATT was the answer. Front rows up, we'll have a reset.
And it's just worth noting here as well, England have changed their front row completely, where Wales actually still have their starting hooker and prop on.
And the Welsh aren't giving in on that at all. Their scrum has been outstanding all day long.
Yeah, the tight head, Keris Hale's still there. Cara Hope is on the loose head side for Wales. So England hunting another try here, and it's Hunter at the back. A good riposte from Wales once more, and they win the penalty, and they can certainly hang their hat on an excellent scrummaging performance here at the Stoop this afternoon.
At 77 minutes, at 61 down on your try line, to defend a scrum like that, that is hard. There are many things that Wales need to improve on, but from a coaching perspective, when you see heart like that, attitude like that, that's something you almost can't coach.
And not to mention that they've all of that pack, the 200 tackles that are being made all over the field. To be making those tackles, throwing your bodies around all over the place, having to turn back by all the balls going over their heads, and then to scrummage like that, hats off to every single one of them.
Another little bit for me and get them set on you. Girls, open up. Thank you.
England will be playing a couple of test matches in the summer and then heading down to the Antipodes in the autumn to play against the Wallaroos and the Blackburns for some valuable competition ahead of next year's World Cup as Hannah Bottoman offloads to MILLAR-MILLS. Both of those forwards try scorers today. DALEY-MCLEAN, Harrison, SCARRATT. Natasha Hunt goes the same way. McKenna, Sarah McKenna dots it down. That's a smart finish from Sarah McKenna.
Thank you.
Well, you can see there's been lessons learned from that Ireland game second half. Players talked about that horrible word, complacency, that they didn't maybe kick on, whereas you have to say here they have been ruthless. They are taking every opportunity they can.
The straightening there of each of the players to conserve the space is where that tries come. Natasha Hunt in, and then Sarah McKenna just straightening the lines. Mia Werner just beforehand, which conserved that space, fixed each defender and made that defender make a choice as to who they were going to take. And they had to make those tackles, which created the space for Sarah to go.
Okay, thank you.
Just checking the grounding here to make sure touches the whitewash. That previous angle, look, yeah, that one's pretty conclusive, isn't it?
All clear, Amber.
And it's 10 tries for the Red Roses. Sarah McKenna chiming in.
And going back to your earlier point, Philippa, around the whole performance for England, which is what was their ambition today, with a crowd of just almost 11,000 people, I would suggest that most of them would say, do you know what a cracking game of rugby, we want to come back again. So England playing in these bigger stadiums is the way that the game has got to go, because they have put on a real show this afternoon.
And I just hope for every other union potentially watching this game will see the potential of what if our women's team were professional as well.
Couldn't agree with you more. The potential lies in all these athletes. And given the opportunity, the platform, the support behind them in strength and conditioning and physio and coaching and time, that is what is needed.
Simon Middleton gave him 7 out of 10 for a 53-0 win in a snowstorm at Murrayfield. I wonder how he feels about 66-7 against Wales at home. We'll find out at full time as we are in the final seconds here, as Vicky Fleetwood sprints clear for England. What a sight that is. Fleetwood in full flight.
She's had an enormous game today. Her work rate's been phenomenal.
What a tournament she's had, Vicky Fleetwood. Sarah Hunter, Hunt, Harrison, McKenna, Lydia Thompson. Yeah, that ball just slightly went forward, didn't it, in the tackle. And that is the final whistle. The Red Roses with their 4th straight win of the 2020 Six Nations. 4 tries in the first half, 6 in the second. Poppy Cleal with a hat-trick.